The candy thief of FM 142, Luis Navarro's hands wouldn't stop shaking as he stared at the Polaroid photo pinned to his truck's sun visor. The image showed his daughter Sophia, age 7, smiling at a rest stop 3 hours ago. But in the background, standing just behind the bathroom door she'd walked through, was something wearing a child's rubber Halloween mask, and beneath the mask's edge, where a neck should be, Luis could see gray, mottled skin stretched too tight, splitting at the seams. He'd taken this photo himself, which meant that thing had been following them since Lubbock. The CB radio crackled with static. Then a child's voice sang through the speaker, "Daddy's little girl tastes like strawberry." Luis slammed his fist on the radio, but the voice kept singing. 15 hours earlier, the October sun had just started bleeding orange across the West Texas horizon when Luis convinced himself this Halloween run was a good idea. His Kenworth T680 hummed steady on Interstate 27, hauling refrigerated pharmaceuticals to a clinic outside Plainview. In the sleeper cab behind him, his kids, Sophia, 7, and Miguel, 10, were supposed to be doing homework. Instead, they were arguing about whether zombies could run. "They're dead," Miguel said with the confidence of a know-it-all fifth grader. "Dead things don't run. The ones in the movies do," Sophia countered. Luis smiled despite the ache in his lower back. 3 years since the divorce. 3 years of splitting custody and missing school plays because he was hauling frozen goods across state lines. But this week, Elena had a work conference in Dallas, and Luis had 2 kids, 1 delivery route, and a promise he'd made to himself: spend Halloween with his children, even if it meant they'd be trick-or-treating at truck stops. "Hey, mijos," Luis called back. "We're stopping at the next rest area. Stretch your legs, okay?" "Can we get candy?" Sophia asked. "Maybe, if they have any." The rest stop on FM 142 wasn't much. A concrete building with flickering lights, 2 vending machines, and a smell like diesel mixed with something sweetly rotten. Luis parked in the truck section, killed the engine, and listened to the sudden silence. Out here, 30 miles from anywhere that mattered, the quiet felt heavy. Sophia skipped toward the bathroom, her light-up sneakers flashing pink with each step. "Stay where I can see you," Luis called. Miguel rolled his eyes. "Dad, she's 7, not 2. And you're 10, not 20. Watch your sister." The boy sighed but followed Sophia toward the building. Luis leaned against the truck, fishing a cigarette from his pocket. His one vice he tried to hide from the kids. As he lit it, he noticed the smell. Underneath the diesel and heat-cracked asphalt, there was something else. Something organic and wrong, like roadkill left to ferment in the sun. He took a drag and scanned the parking lot. 3 other semis, a rusted Chevy pickup with a tarp-covered bed. No people. That's when he heard the singing, faint, childlike, coming from somewhere behind the bathroom building. "Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat." Luis crushed the cigarette under his boot and walked toward the sound. Behind the building, near a dumpster surrounded by tall grass, he saw a figure. Small, maybe 4 feet tall, wearing a cardboard box over its head, cutout eyes, a jagged marker smile. "Hey," Luis called. "You okay, kid?" The figure turned. The cardboard mask tilted, and through the eye holes, Luis couldn't see eyes. Just darkness. "Your parents around?" The figure didn't answer. It held something in its hands, a plastic pumpkin bucket, the kind kids used for trick-or-treating. But as Luis got closer, he realized the bucket was moving. Things inside were squirming. "What you got there?" The figure's head cocked to the side, joints popping audibly. Then it ran, not like a child runs, but like something imitating the memory of running. Its legs bent wrong, its arms swung too loose. Luis felt cold sweat on his neck. "Dad!" He turned. Miguel was waving from the bathroom entrance. "We're good. Sophia found a vending machine that works." Luis jogged back, trying to shake the unease. Just some weird kid. Halloween made everyone act strange. But that smell, the smell clung to his clothes now, sweet and putrid, like meat left in a hot car. Inside the rest stop, Sophia was feeding quarters into a vending machine, her face pressed against the glass. "They have Skittles," she announced. "Just one bag," Luis said. "We're eating real dinner later." Miguel nudged him. "Dad, check out that guy." Near the bathroom entrance, a man stood perfectly still. He wore a coyote-pelt over his shoulders, head intact, glass eyes staring. Beneath it, a stained thermal shirt and jeans tucked into work boots. His face was weathered, skin like old leather, and he watched them without blinking. "Evening," Luis said, the word coming out more like a question. The man smiled. His teeth were too white. "Too many of them." "Nice night for traveling," the man said. His voice sounded like gravel scraped over bone. "Yeah, just passing through." "Most people are, passing through." The man's eyes flicked to Sophia. Sweet kids. Every instinct in Luis's body screamed. He put his hand on Sophia's shoulder. "We should get going. Come on, mijos." As they walked back to the truck, Luis felt eyes on his back. He glanced over his shoulder. The man in the coyote-pelt stood in the doorway, silhouetted against the fluorescent lights. Next to him, that small figure with the cardboard mask, both watching. Luis hurried the kids into the truck and locked the doors. They drove for an hour in silence, the sun fully set now, the highway swallowed by darkness. Luis kept checking his mirrors. Nothing behind them but empty road and the occasional set of distant headlights. "Dad?" Miguel's voice was small. "Something smells weird." Luis sniffed. That same smell from the rest stop. Stronger now. Inside the cab. "Sophia, did you step in something?" "No." She sounded offended. Luis turned on the cab light. Sophia's light-up sneakers were clean, but next to her backpack, on the sleeper bed, was something that hadn't been there before. A plastic pumpkin bucket. "Where did that come from?" Luis's voice came out sharper than he intended. "I don't know." Sophia's eyes welled with tears. "I didn't take it." Miguel leaned over. "Dude, there's stuff in it." Luis pulled over, hazards flashing, and grabbed the bucket. Inside were small objects. A hair tie with blonde strands still attached. A child's hospital bracelet. A plastic toy soldier. A Polaroid photo of a little girl, not Sophia, someone else, smiling at a camera. And underneath everything, something that made Luis's stomach turn. A clump of hair, fresh scalp still attached. He threw the bucket out of the truck and slammed the door. "We're not stopping again until we're home," he said, voice shaking. "No more rest stops, no more—" Something scratched against the passenger door. All three of them froze. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Luis slowly turned his head. In the window, pressed against the glass, was the cardboard mask. The eye holes were empty, but through the mouth hole he could see something moving, something wet and gray, writhing. "Drive, Dad," Miguel whispered. "Drive." Luis slammed the truck into gear and punched the accelerator. The tires screamed. In his side mirror, he saw the small figure standing in the road. cardboard head tilted, watching them disappear into the night. But 50 yards ahead, on the side of the highway, stood the man in the coyote-pelt. Luis couldn't brake fast enough. He swerved, the trailer fishtailing. When he finally regained control, he checked the mirrors. Empty road. No figure. No man. Just darkness and the smell, stronger than ever, like something had died inside the air vents. 3 hours later, they were still an hour from home when Sophia started crying. "My hair," she sobbed. "Something pulled my hair." Luis looked back. In the sleeper cab, Sophia clutched the side of her head. Strands of blonde hair lay on the pillow, freshly cut, the ends clean. "Miguel, did you—" "I didn't touch her." Miguel's voice cracked with fear. "Dad, I swear, I didn't." A giggle echoed from somewhere in the cab. High-pitched. Wrong. Luis slammed on the brakes and turned on every light in the truck. He tore open the storage compartments, checked behind the seats, searched every inch of space. Nothing. They were alone. But when he checked the passenger seat, there was a new Polaroid photo. This one showing Sophia sleeping in the cab, taken from an angle Luis recognized. Someone had been inside the truck. Someone had been inches from his daughter. His phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. Heavy breathing. Then that child's voice, wet and distorted. "Daddy's little girl tastes like strawberry." Luis threw the phone and locked every door. His hands trembled as he programmed the GPS for home. No more side roads, no more stops, just the main highway. The radio came to life on its own, static first, then singing. "Dar smell my feet. Give me something good to eat." "Turn it off," Sophia screamed. Luis smashed the radio with his fist. The screen cracked, went dark, but the singing continued, coming from somewhere else now, from the vents, from the walls, from inside the trailer. Miguel was staring out the back window, face white. "Dad, there's something on the trailer." Luis checked the mirror. In the red glow of his taillights, he saw it, that small figure now clinging to the back of the refrigerated container, cardboard mask pressed against the door seal. Its fingers were too long, bending in too many places, scratching at the metal. And behind it, running alongside the highway, was the man in the coyote-pelt. He wasn't running. He was loping, on all fours, keeping pace with the truck at 70 miles per hour. His mouth hung open, and in the darkness, Luis saw rows of teeth that went too far back. "Dad, go faster," Miguel shouted. Luis floored it. 80, 90, the engine roared, but the man kept pace, and the thing on the trailer wouldn't let go. Then, ahead in the road, Luis saw them. A dozen small figures, all wearing cardboard masks, all were standing in a line across both lanes. He couldn't stop. Not at this speed. He gripped the wheel, closed his eyes, and drove through. The impact never came. When he opened his eyes, the road was empty. The figures were gone. The thing on the trailer had vanished. Even the smell had faded. For 10 miles, nothing happened. Just the rumble of the engine and Miguel's ragged breathing. "Are we safe?" Sophia whispered. "Yeah, baby, we're safe." Luis almost believed it. Then he noticed the Polaroid photo tucked into his sun visor, the one he'd taken at the rest stop, showing Sophia near the bathroom. He pulled it down, and his blood went cold. In the background of the photo, behind Sophia, was the door she'd walked through, and standing just inside that doorway, barely visible in the shadows, was the small figure in the cardboard mask. The image was clear enough to show what Luis hadn't seen before. The mask wasn't sitting on a head. It was stapled directly onto something that had never been human. And beneath the mask's edge, gray skin split open to reveal what looked like dozens of tiny fingers, grasping, pulling, trying to stretch the stolen skin wider. The CB radio crackled back to life. Sophia's voice came through the speaker, but Sophia was right behind him, awake and terrified. "Daddy," the voice said, perfectly mimicking his daughter, "can we stop for candy? I'm still hungry." Luis looked in his rearview mirror. Sophia's reflection smiled back at him. But Sophia wasn't smiling, and her eyes, her real eyes, were locked on something behind Luis, something standing between the driver's seat and the sleeper cab, something that smelled like roadkill and Halloween candy mixed with copper. "Dad," Miguel breathed, "don't turn around." But Luis's eyes were already drifting down to the cardboard box sitting on the passenger seat, the one that definitely, absolutely had not been there 60 seconds ago. The box moved. Inside, something scratched, and from the darkness of FM 142 behind them, the CB radio whispered one last time in his daughter's stolen voice, "We're coming home with you."